It's easier to get forgiveness than ask permission. And if you look like your passport picture, you probably need the trip. I always need the trip. American inventor and entrepreneur Charles Kettering once said, "The world hates change, yet it's the only thing that has brought progress." So last week and week before, we started talking about change and how change is always occurring, and it's occurring at a pace faster and faster, it seems like. Changes are occurring in our individual lives just like they are changing in the life of our ministry. Some changes are expected, and some are complete surprises. Some changes are pleasant, and some are devastating. Some changes we orchestrate, and others come right out of the blue. Now, where is the blue? I'm not sure. Thank you, God. In some changes, we can see the immediate good in that moment. And in others, we're pressed very hard to find the good, at least for a while. But change is happening. And I stand in the absolute and complete knowing that all change is for the better. All change happens because our souls, the essence of who we are, is calling this change forth so that we can expand and evolve. In Neil Donald Walsh's book, When Everything Changes, Change Everything, he says, we've all heard it 100 times, and it seems incredibly trite to say it again, but here we go anyway. For every door that closes, there's another one that opens. Sometimes the hallway seems really big. It doesn't, that was Beth's editorial. It doesn't matter what you've lost, your job, your home, your spouse, your credit, your dream, your hopes, even your health. It doesn't matter what you've lost or what has so drastically changed. You can start your life all over again and achieve even greater heights. I promise you. And there's a story that really represents that to me, and that's the story of the composer Franz Joseph Haydn. I don't know how many of you know about him, but as a small child, he had this beautiful voice, and at the age of 8, he was taken into this cathedral choir at St. Stephen's in Vienna, and he sang solo parts, and he was just this valuable singer. And he received magnificent musical education and instruction, and he earned a great living. Otherwise, he'd have been a child of the streets. And he was a member of this choir for 9 years. And then guess what happened? Yep, I heard it up here. His voice changed. And at 17, he'd lost his job. And he was penniless. Big change. But he took what he learned and he continued to work and to be a musician and to study, and he began to teach and to compose. And by 1760, he became the director of the music at the court of the Prince of Austria. And he held that position for 30 years. And guess what happened? The prince died. And there he was, out of a job and penniless again. He was 58 years old. And in the early 1800s, 58 was pretty ancient. We would say that's just in their prime now, but the life expectancy was 35 or so at that time. And so here was another change in his life, but he refused to be ruffled. He began to accept commissions and doing conducting, and he went to London, and there he began to work with a special student, Beethoven. He had leisure time to enjoy his fame and his success, and he had time to write some of his most famous works, including The Creation and The Seasons. Twice in his life he was cast aside, but each time he built a new and better life, because whether he did it consciously or not, he lived the idea that all change is for the better. And as you and I look at taking that in, that all change is for the better, that our soul is calling for change, we can say it, but it's something else to feel it, isn't it? Sometimes we think that things look kind of yucky, and we might even say, if things are happening for the better, and if this is really true, then what in the blazes does Spirit have in store for me now? Because it doesn't look better now. But we can stop and we can say, I know that this change too will bring me to a higher and better place. We can change our idea about why the change took place in the first place. We can claim that my soul is crying for this change. This change didn't happen because I live in a scary world. This change has happened so that I can grow. It didn't happen because I've been bad. It's happened so I can grow. It didn't occur because I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and now I need the most of it. It happened so that I can grow and evolve. And so that's the truth. Now let's breathe it in. The change occurred because we wanted it to. Our souls wanted the change. And you may be thinking right now, I don't think so. I most definitely did not call this change into being. No way, no how. No one in their right mind would want this change. And if you're thinking that, you're probably right. Because no one in their right mind would choose something different. But your mind doesn't make the choice. Your soul does. Your soul makes the choice so that you can grow and evolve. So we're not a victim to change. We're the cause of change. And Walsh suggests that we need to examine 4 fundamental questions, and that is, who am I, where am I, why am I here, and what am I doing here? When we get in that place where we think our soul change is not for the right thing. And who are we? We are an individuation of divinity. And where are we? We're in the realm of the physical. We're in heaven, even though we don't always call it that. And why are we here? We're in this realm so that we, spiritual beings, can learn and use tools that we can only use here in the physical realm. Walsh calls this the system of the soul. He says that everything that changes at your direction. You want it to occur because you're continually choosing the perfect people, the perfect places, and the perfect conditions with which to experience what you seek to experience next. Doesn't come without fear, though, does it? No. There's a Dilbert comic strip and that I thought was really cute about fear, and Dilbert is saying to his office colleague, he's saying, change is easy, you go first. This week we've had Be Peace, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I would like to invite Rita Marie to come up here and talk to us, because even Be Peace has experienced some changes.
Thank you, Beth. Hello, everyone. You know, as I was hearing you talk, it reminded me that Charles Fillmore, our founder of Unity, along with Myrtle, that when he was deciding what to name Unity, he had to decide between his idea, the School of Change, and Unity School. How about that, friends? We are the School of Change, are we not?
Yes. We'd never have anybody come in if we said that. Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah. Would you like for me to give the new definition of
Yes.
Be Peace? Yes, friends, we've simplified our language so that we can reach into the mainstream. We've always seen Be Peace as a way to move out of our spiritual circles into the mainstream, but we needed the right language to be able to do that. So one thing we did besides change our language in the definition, we've also developed a second brand called the Connection Practice. And with the Connection Practice, which is identical to the Be Peace practice, we're able to get into schools and universities and businesses. So the definition of it, whether you call it Be Peace or whether you call it the Connection Practice, is that it's a skill set so that you can unite your empathy and insight for accelerated growth, accelerated change.
Accelerated personal growth.
Accelerated personal and professional growth. A skill set that unites your empathy and insight for accelerated growth. So that's what we did this last week. We accelerated our growth, didn't we, friends? Yes.
So Rita Marie was telling us about a story that I'm going to ask her to share about being with a company. She was there. A company said, let's learn this connection practice.
So this was a company in Washington, D.C., and the name of the company was AZMJ. So the CEO invited me to come give our 12-hour course to AZMJ employees. So towards the end of the course, we began using the connection practice to help them with their strategic planning. And in that process, because we'd created such emotional safety, the employees felt free to tell the CEO that they did not like the name of their company, AZMJ. It was the initials of the CEO's family members. And she had named it years and years ago before she knew what the company was going to become. And so the employees told her, look, we really need a name that fits us. And because of the emotional safety that we'd created, she was receptive to hearing that, and she made a commitment to change the name. So after I left, about a month later, I got an email from her. And she said, you know, we used the connection practice to actually come up with a new name. And I said, wow, that's pretty amazing, you know, that they applied it in that way. And she said, our new name is Connexus. Connexus! I was just amazed that they came up with a name that's so close to the connection practice. This is an international consulting firm that consults in the area of developing countries, and helps agribusinesses get connected to financial institutions and also to donors, so they connect people. So they came up with Connexus, and they're so proud of their new name that the CEO spent her good money to fly to me in California, and she made a testimonial video of the impact of the connection practice on her business. Isn't that wonderful?
So another story I want you to share.
Okay.
You also made a presentation when you were in California to a school.
Yes, that's right. Yes, out of the blue came this opportunity to make a presentation to the California Montessori Project. This is a school with over 400 students now, and they're aiming for 700. So I was invited because one of our B-Peace graduates' son went to this school. I was invited to come and make a presentation to the principal. And so when I finished up the presentation, she said, "What are our next steps?" And so she asked us for a proposal, and we're in that process now of coming up with a proposal, an offer they can't refuse. Yeah.
So I've had this vision of Unity of Melbourne sponsoring B-Peace, or the connection practices, in our public schools. And what I realize is, as we take it, all of us take it, it's affecting our lives, and that we're still going to be wishing to get into the public schools. That's still our goal. But our focus may be to take it to businesses, and take it to our neighbors, to take it to wherever we can take it, because we'll never know which person takes it that is the person that is the connected person in the school district. And it warms my heart to see how B-Peace and the connection practice is growing, because I believe that it's a method of change for this world. And I'm very proud to be able to have it here at our church and know that this group has embraced it, and so I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Beth. And I want you to know that your minister is shaping the model for the unity movement of this. She is the one. She is the one. I've taught this in Unity churches for about 10 years, and I have never seen anybody be as proactive and articulate and community service-based too, wanting to bring it to their community as Beth had. She's just marvelous.
And it is, the reason for that is your board of trustees. Your board of trustees said, let's do it. Becky Cox said, let's tie this to our community. So when you think about us being here and all that we can be, know that we really do want to be all that we can be. Is there anything else you want to say about change?
No, I just want to appreciate this week that I had with you. It was so wonderful to be at home with my Unity family and to witness the openness, the receptivity, and the change. You know, one of the most marvelous things for me in my work is when I see the actual physical structure of people's faces change by the end of the week. And I saw some of that this week, and it was just glorious to see that love streaming through. So thank you for the honor of being with you this week and being here now. Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to close with one thing. We know when there's change, we have this thing called fear. And what is the definition of fear? False evidence appearing real. Well, Neil Donald Walsh has a better acronym. And his acronym is feeling excited and ready. Mike Dooley, a note from the universe, says, fear, like joy, usually means that you're exactly where you should be, learning what you're ready to learn, and about to become more of who you are. Woohoo! And I know that I've heard many of you that in the last 2 weeks that have said, I went to see the building, and you've come back, and you're feeling that excited and ready to change, and I appreciate that. Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you did not do than all the ones you did. So throw off the bow line, sail from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Feeling excited and ready. So would you repeat after me? I am feeling excited and ready.
I am feeling excited and ready.
For the good this change is bringing.
For the good this change is bringing.
My soul brought it on.
My soul brought it on.
So that I am that I am.
So that I am that I am.
And I might more fully. And I might more fully. I don't know. Know God and be God.